Welcome to Module 17, where we'll turn this into this. Join me for this next module in the beginner series. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, friends, the heart of nature. Here is our color palette. We base painted with Aloe. We have our pink tourmaline, as you know, from Craftsmart. In the dazzling metallics, we have worn penny, purple pearl, and festive green. In the Nouveau drops, we have copper penny. If you don't have Nouveau drops, no problem. Just use the worn penny and your dotting tool. In the Deco Art Americanas, we have buttermilk, burlap, Mississippi mud, Hauser dark green, light avocado, Hauser medium green, sage mint, citron green, and sunny day. Let's get at it. I varnish the back of that and then let that dry well. And I usually put 3 coats on. There we go. I've got 3 coats of varnish on there. And we are ready to start painting the front. I'll need another coat of the Aloe on there to get ready to do the front. And hey, why don't we do that right now? Just pouring some Aloe directly on there, and then I'll just roll it on. Now with the dry roller, if you don't use the paint tray and just the dry roller, you do have to roll it out a bit more to get full coverage, okay? Okay, as you can see, I already have the hanger on the back of this, which means I do need to orient my piece so that it'll hang properly. So I brought that line over and marked it here. And then I used my Wow Center Finder to get center. And it doesn't matter where you put this on the board, okay? It's going to find center, you see? Center. Okay, so we have center, and we drew a straight line down from the top, and now I need 90 degrees from that point. Okay, and I'll mark 90, and at the bottom I'll mark 270, and that's going to get our 4 lines in. And what you want to do is make sure that your pencil is going to go straight through that center line. There we go. Now, this is what I call my little cheating part. So I'm going to line this up so that all those lines are sort of in the center, and that our center dot is right where we need it to be, in the center. Okay, and then we'll just mark the rest of these lines in. We're going to do a 16 segment this time. There we go. And now we just need to draw those lines through. Excellent. Now we need 0.5 centimeter increments for our circles. Okay, and once you get all those circles in, we're going to go in with our center dot. We're using buttermilk, and I'm putting some gloss medium and a little bit of pouring medium in with that. Now, let me just warn you right now that in the end, I'm going to change that buttermilk dot to pink tourmaline. I know, strange, but stranger things have happened, so there you go. So we're using the 12mm tool here to get that center dot in. And if you have pink tourmaline, just use it now. And the center dot is in and dry. We're going in with burlap and the 0.5mm tool. Now you will notice that I've sped it up a little bit. Don't worry about it. If you need to pause the video, do that. Just go at your own pace, okay? And the burlap is in. And now let's go in with fawn. And we'll use the 1mm tool. And Mississippi Mud is next. 2.5 millimeter tool. Let's get out that buttermilk again and that 2 millimeter tool because we're going to make some swooshes now. My buttermilk's a little bit thick, so I'm going to add some pouring medium so it will flow better. Much better. And as you can see, we're putting these swooshes on every other line. Now we're going to dot around those swooshes. And yes, I showed you the Hauser light green, which is what we're going in with right now, with the 0.5 millimeter tool for those uppermost dots. And I will tell you that I changed that color because in a different light, it was very difficult to see the difference between that and the background color. Okay? We'll be walking the dots down with the small end of the 1 millimeter tool, but now I'm going to cut away and go to the clip where we're actually doing the appropriate color. All right, friends. So when I saw this in a different light, it was darker or whatever, you could barely see these dots. So I'm probably going to change that color. But for now, we're going to go in with our fine tip tool and we're going to place copper dots in between all of these dots around the center. Okay. It's time consuming, but the look is just stunning. So, and that's why I sped it up a little bit, because you can always pause it and just continue on with the task of the tiny dots, and then come back to it when you've caught up. Okay? So now we need to take care of this green here that's not really showing in the light. Or the dark. Maybe we'll go over it with the light avocado, because like right now in this light it looks okay, but I'm telling you, if it's a bit darker you don't even notice it. So we'll just go over it with this. And remember, we used the 0.5 millimeter tool for the uppermost dots and the small end of the 1 millimeter tool to walk the dots down. However, now that I'm trying to cover the dots, I'm going to stick with the 0.5 millimeter tool from the uppermost dot all the way down. Okay? Make sense? This is a really good spot to pause the video so you can do this dotting all the way around all of those swooshes, and we'll catch you up on the last one, okay? I really like this color a lot better. It shows well. So, good. That is that, and that was the light avocado. Okay. We are ready for our next color, which is the Hauser medium green. Okay, let's take the 2 millimeter tool for our uppermost dot. Right there. It's a big 2 millimeters for this uppermost dot. Really loading the paint in there. So you could probably go 2.5 even. There we go. And then we'll take the 1 millimeter tool to walk that down, right? So we come across from there for our first dots. After this round of dots, you may want to press pause because we'll continue at the last row of dots. Okay, everybody all caught up? We're going to try some of this metallic festive green. I don't have enough room for another one of those, so instead we'll just do maybe a swoosh down. We could put a dot up there with the 3 millimeter tool. Just a side note, sometimes I like you to hear my thought process when I'm trying to figure the piece out. I think it's good to sort of understand what you have to think about. And this is with the festive green, so it's in the metallics, the dazzling metallics. So we're going to use the 2 millimeter tool to create these swooshes. Okay, so you're probably going to have to load your paint a couple of times. I'm switching to the small end to bring that down. A little bit wider here. There we go. No, not quite wide enough. So you're always looking left to right to make sure that they are both even. Now's a good time to press pause, as we'll go directly to the last swooshes. Lovely. Now, I think we're going to take some of this Sunny Day Yellow. I'm going to add a little bit of mixing white, just a drop. And I'm also going to add some gloss medium. Okay, we're using the 2.5 millimeter tool to place these beautiful Sunny Day dots in between the swooshes. I'm going to dot down. Make sure I have room everywhere first. That one's a tight one, so I might have to go with a smaller tool. So let's start with the smaller tool right off the hop, shall we? Let's use the 0.5 millimeter tool and we'll walk some dots down from that top one. Time to pause. Okay, so now we're using the 3 millimeter tool and the burlap paint to create a circle of dots enclosing the center section. Just dot by dot. Dip and dot, dip and dot. And I'll see you at the end because I will cut off part of it. You know what to do. Okay, so we should get 7 dots in 2 sections. But if we don't, we don't, and we just carry on. Similar size dots, similar spacing. Good time to pause the video. Okay. I need something in here to pop. I'm just not sure what. Okay, so now we're going to take the Mississippi mud. We'll be top dotting it afterwards, but we're going to make some flower bases. Hoping we can get 2 rows of flowers in here. So we're placing these flower bases with the 8mm tool. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, so we have the 8mm tool to create our flower bases on every other line. Okay, we're going to start making some petals, and yeah, I'm not sure, but we're going to try this citron green. I need something to pop here. Okay, so that's citron green, and we're thinking of starting our dots with that. I hope it'll show up. The question is, will we start with a 1mm uppermost dot? Ooh, yes, I'm gonna like this. Okay, so that's the uppermost dot. And now the 0.5mm tool to walk those down. Time to pause the video. Okay, what I'm going to do is take this Hauser light green, which didn't work out for us before because we couldn't see it, but I'm going to add a little bit of the Hauser medium green. Okay, so I've added a little bit, probably too much. Actually, that'll be good. So we'll take our 2mm tool for the uppermost dots. Okay, all right, so now we're going to walk down with the 0.5mm tool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can even do this, like, so you follow that line and then follow that line to get this second one in. Pause the video. Okay, so that was a custom mix of the Hauser light green and the Hauser medium green, okay, to give us that color there. And now we need the Hauser medium green. Yes, 2.5 uppermost dot. Yeah, that's enough of a difference. I wasn't sure. Again, as you guys know, I really don't know where I'm going with this. I thought maybe 2 rows of flowers. We'll see if I stay with that decision or not. Okay, now let's go down to the 2mm tool. Okay, and so right in line with that, right in line with that. One dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One dot. Bigger, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's okay. Time to pause the video. Oh, I like it. Gotta get my chalk pencil out, see if I can get creative. So what we're starting here at this point, just beneath those burlap dots, we're coming down a centimeter and just kind of midway between this line and the outside of your flower. And then we're coming down to here. So the diamond is 2 centimeters in length. Maybe not quite so wide. I'm a rough sketcher, guys, but if you have a cutout or clip art or shape thingy, by all means use that. It's so much more accurate. Diamonds. Copper? Copper. Okay, copper. I still don't even know what I'm doing here. My hands are just moving. So we're loading some paint into these diamond shapes. And honestly, whatever size tool you want to use is fine. I found the 2 was a little bit small. And then you're going to use your fine tip tool to define your edges. And because these are rough sketched in, you just have to kind of look left to right and make them equal. You can also measure. Oh, that's a novel idea. I mean, I do measure for a lot of things, but sometimes I just don't. Time to pause. Oh, one more. I like that, and I think they look fairly uniform. This guy might be a bit wide, but I think when we get everything done around it, no one will notice. I might have to bring in purple, but we'll see. I know it seems weird, but trust me, sometimes adding a color you don't think will go really makes it pop. All right, so I didn't film any of that. Sage mint. We use the 2mm tool for the uppermost dot, and then the 0.5mm tool to walk the dots down. A nice single dotted down to the point on either side, and then walk the dots beneath that, okay? Then we went in with our purple pearl from Deco Art Americana, and we did these swooshes using the 2.5mm tool to start this swoosh. When we got just to turn the corner, we switched over to the small end so we could tuck those in, okay? And we did that all the way around. Then I decided, hey, let's put a trio of swooshes in the same purple because we need to tie it all together, right? And you might think, wow, purple's a weird color. But to me, the only weird color right now is that sage mint, and might be okay. Depends on what we do afterwards. So I took the 1mm tool to create the 3 dots, and I used the fine tip tool to drag those dots down into little swooshes, a trio of swooshes. So now we can just do, and I think we're going to copy this row here, and then we can do something along the edge that's maybe a little different. Okay, so we need our Mississippi mud 8mm tool, and we're coming just above this right here. Right, and when you're making those flower bases, you want them to be in that 1cm space there. And you really want to try to get in the middle of your guidelines there, so everything's symmetrical. Okay, we've got the 1mm tool for the uppermost dots and that citron green paint. Let's start the petals. Get it closer up to that line there, like almost at the crosshairs. .5mm tool to walk those dots down. It's time to pause the video. There we go. Next row is the Hauser light green, and add a little bit of Hauser medium green to darken that up a bit. Okay, now the 2mm tool for our uppermost dots, and we're coming on the next crosshairs. Now, it's quite possible that you guys have a 10-inch piece. Mine is like 9.75. So you can decide if you want to add a little bit more in that last 1/4 inch, or just leave it. That's up to you. Okay, so now we'll take the 1mm tool and walk those dots down. Time to pause the video. Okay, next one is the Hauser medium green 2.5mm tool for the uppermost dot, and again on the crosshairs. And just make sure it's bigger than the one below it and in line with the one below it, okay? Oh, there we are. So we'll take the 2mm tool now to walk the dots down. Pause the video. There we go. Now we will be top dotting all of these flower bases. And you know what? I think I'm going to just do exactly the same thing here. So I'm starting here at just above that dot, which is about 4.5 centimeters from the rim. Okay, from here down to here. Let's get our copper out. I'm using the 3mm tool to load the paint here, and then I'll use my fine tip tool to define the edges. Time to pause the video so you can get the rest of those diamonds in. Okay, now we're putting in the sage mint dots alongside those diamond shapes. We use the 2.5 millimeter tool for the uppermost dot, and we're using the 2 millimeter tool to walk the dots down. And again, we're walking them single dots halfway down and then walk the dots the rest of the way. Pause the video. There we go. Now maybe this time you can see the swooshes actually being created. We're using the 3 millimeter tool to place uppermost dots above these diamond shapes, and we're using the Dazzling Metallics Purple Pearl paint. And I thinned it because it is quite thick, so I put some pouring medium in, so it will flow better. So we're using the 3 millimeter tool for the swooshes, and we're bringing them about halfway down, and as we turn that corner, we're going to switch to the smaller end of the tool to take those right around. Time to pause. I'm trying to decide. I want to use this festive green, and whether I go here or go here. It's all about balance. What if we did green here? We won't worry about another dot. We'll just come down a bit or stay the same. And then we did one of the browns there. Okay, that's what the decision has been made. People. Okay, same thing. Using the 3 millimeter tool. And as you turn the bend, if you need to, switch to the small end so you can tuck it in. I'm not leaving a negative space here. Just coming around it, right next to it. And always, again, just be mindful of the other ones and try and stay as similar as you can. Okay, I don't know what I want to do right now, so I'm going to do some top dots because we have a couple of layers of top dots to do. Okay, when in doubt, do top dots. What I would like to do is do top dots on these guys, and then we're going to top dot them again. So we'll go in with the burlap paint and the 4 millimeter tool to create our top dots. Now we have to do this without getting our hand in this paint. Okay. You want to try and be in the center as much as possible. Oh, look at that. Again, it's always a surprise to me. There we go.
Okay, you might think I'm crazy, but I'm thinking pink tourmaline.
Again, like I say, if you're going to follow me, get used to crazy color combos because it's what I do. I see all these people doing these just gorgeous sort of muted pieces, neutrals, and I always try and get started at it, and I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Okay, and just so you know, with the green there, I added pouring medium just as I'm doing with this pink. Can I do that all the way around without disrupting things? We're just gonna try.
So we're just using the 3mm tool here to place pink tourmaline dots. And we're placing them at the bottom of the swooshes. And if you hit a yellow dot, don't worry about it.
Oh. Perfect. Oh my gosh, this is just the crazy, but it really works. It is exactly what this piece needed. Okay. I'm flipping out here. I'm loving that.
So I'm just marking the center of these spaces here because I'm really excited now and I want to put some pink tourmaline in there as well. Just a different shape.
No more fooling around here. Let's just do it. Oh my gosh. Oh, the introduction of that pink. I'm swooning. I love it. Let's try using the 2.5mm tool. And so we're putting a dot. So let's aim here in the middle.
And then drag it upwards so it looks like a teardrop. And then drag the bottom part down the same way you did the top.
Okay, so again, in the middle, right about here. Bring one side up, and the other side up. Bring one side down, bring the other side down. Okay.
Time to pause so you can get the rest of these in, and I'll meet you at the last one.
Now it's just making sure you have enough paint in all of them. Okay. They're not perfect, but I love them. Yes to the pink. I'm telling you, you can never go wrong with pink tourmaline.
Just rough sketching in the final swooshes there that we will be putting in the buttermilk.
And put some gloss medium in that. Needs some pouring medium too. If you're swooshing, we'll use the 3mm tool, but we will definitely go to the smaller end or to our fine tip tool to get down near the end there, okay?
Time to pause to get the rest of your swooshes in. And again, see you at the last one.
God, I thought for a minute I wasn't filming. I was going to lose my mind. Nope, too late. It's already lost. It's coming together, my friends, quite nicely. Okay, my friends, I'm still not sure what I'm doing here, but I do know that I took the 2 1/4 inch circle. I made sure I had midpoints marked all the way along. And then because that is a little bit lower than that, we have to go by the line under the purple. And so I've just sort of marked that so we can get them somewhat even. And then take your one black line there and put it in the center, like here, be just below that purple, and then mark your circle. And then come here and you're on the line even with the purple, and you make your circle. And we just did that all the way around. And again, it's the 2 1/4 inch circle. Okay. Now we're going in with the
1.5 millimeter tool.
create top dots in Mississippi mud on these burlap dots. You could also do this in copper, but I think we've got a lot of copper on already in those diamond shapes. So I just thought I'll go in with the Mississippi mud, dark on light.
But of course, then we'll go in and top dot with the copper.
Do you want to know the funny thing? Is that I totally forgot that I had named this the Heart of Nature. Because my intent was to be all, you know, muted greens and browns, and hadn't really intended on putting the purples and pinks in, but I mean, I should know myself better than that, right? So you can name yours whatever you like. Mine is already on the back and varnished so that it will stay as the Heart of Nature. Because nature has so many beautiful colors. I mean, the purples, lilacs, crocuses, pinks, beautiful pink roses, all our greens for grass and plants and leaves.
Maybe it's not so weird.
The copper is for those pennies that people have dropped on the ground. That's right. And the yellow is for sunshine. So I think we've got it covered for the Heart of Nature, don't you? Okay, so 2.5 millimeter tool with the copper for top dots here. And then here. There we go. We'll do swooshes here. Let's start with copper.
Small end of the 2 millimeter tool.
Now, if you have a 10-inch piece, you may want to do something different along here, or make bigger circles, okay, and bigger swooshes. Because mine is 9.75. It's an
Odd size. Continue on with these swooshes, and I'll see you at the last swoosh.
question is, do I do yellow and then just, or do I put yellow in here? Yes, there we go. So copper. I'll use Mississippi mud next. Still using the same tool.
And I'm leaving a negative space in between the swooshes. Okay, I'll let you guys carry on with these Mississippi mud swooshes, and I'll meet you at the last swoosh.
Okay, so we'll do the burlap next. Okay, next I'm going to move into the greens,
And we'll start with the light avocado. Same tool.
And the next is Hauser medium green. Okay.
And lastly, the citron green.
Okay, so something yellow in here.
Diamonds it is, my friend, because they are a girl's best friend.
Okay, and that we're doing in the yellow. And that will tie everything together.
So just like any of our other diamonds, we're just going in with the 3mm tool to load the paint, and then the fine detailed tool to define the edges. And you'll see those diamond shapes are just roughly sketched in, but as you get in to paint them, you'll be able to line it up with your eye with everything else that's on the piece.
So once you get your edges all tidied up, you're going to go in with more paint just to beef the whole thing up, okay?
Okay, beautiful. We need a center dot there. I'm not loving the buttermilk. What could it be? Oh, I don't know. Pink tourmaline? Call me crazy. But first, some pink tourmaline accent dots.
4mm tool. It's a very busy little piece, isn't it? Anyways, I think that's it for tonight. The only thing I'm questioning is my center dot there. Or do I just leave it like that? Might have been nice in the sunny yellow. My only problem is I'm really not sure I'm going to be able to do that without messing up a lot of other dots. So let's let that dry and then we'll carry on from there, shall we?
So I slept on it and I decided I'm doing it. I'm going in with the pink tourmaline and I'm going to try and get that center dot done. Wish me luck.
It's crazy because it's like 2:30 in the morning, but I want to make that center dot, which I wasn't totally thrilled with from the beginning, but I thought, oh, it'll be okay. I want to make it pink tourmaline. I tried with the 12, and I'm going to try going in a bit smaller and seeing if we can then just work it around. So let's see how we make out here. So we could do it just like that, or we could try and cover the whole thing. So that is not bad. There's a little bit of touch up right here.
Figured everyone could get a good laugh out of this one. My vision sucks. Because that first dot was a little bit plump, I want to make sure that I get down around the sides of the buttermilk so that you don't see any buttermilk, just the pink tourmaline. So I'm spending quite a bit of time on this, but in the end it's worth it.
I think that's got it.
What a pop of color, right? I love it.
Yeah. How about that? Thank goodness for this. My new eyes. I do think we're pretty much done on this piece. Do you think these need a little tiny copper top dot on them?
And the answer is yes. All right, so we're using the Nouveau Crystal Drops in Copper Penny to create tiny little top dots for the dots beneath. And if you don't have Nouveau Drops, no worries. Just use the worn penny and the small end of the 1mm tool.
Yes.
Now, at the tip of those diamond shapes, we're going to use our Nouveau Drops again to place a dot there. And again, if you don't have the Nouveau Drops, just use your worn penny and the 2mm tool. Should do that fine.
Now I think we're finished.
So we just need to wait for
That to dry, we can get the guidelines off, get some varnish on. So in our next module, we are doing a 12-inch piece. Following that, we're getting into making some molds, and then we'll paint one of our molds. And it has been amazing for me doing this series because honestly, I've learned a lot as well and gotten a lot of good practice in on things that I don't use often. And maybe I will now. And I think, for me anyways, it's just great. Like, it's almost better for me not to have a pattern in mind and just come up with it as I go. The only thing that you have to be cautious of is sort of doing what you know and not stepping out of your comfort zone and sort of always sort of heading back to the same design patterns that you like, that you're comfortable with. And sometimes this way it makes you think, hey, what else can I do? How can I do something differently so it doesn't look like all my mandalas are the same? Imagination, creativity, it's all there within you. I'm not 100% thrilled with how the yellows turned out, and you know, I have that issue every single time. This, I think I just had too many bubbles in there. That's the problem, so that's my bad for that. But I think at the end of the day, this is a beautiful piece. I'll be proud to say I made it, and I hope you guys will give it a go too. And again, you don't have to use the colors I use. You can use neutrals. I won't judge you. I get to a certain point where I'll start off with neutral colors, and then it's like, nope, I've got to add something flashy in here. So I'll get back to you when we're all cleaned up and ready to varnish. Okay, it's time to get those guidelines off. This is always a good time to keep your eye open for any
touch-ups that need doing.
Anyhow, there we go. Off to rest until varnish time. Okay, we're all set to get some varnish on there. And we're putting on the high gloss varnish. And we've just dusted it off with our duster here. And we are all setty. We are all ready. Ready, setty, go. Now just get the edge here.
Round 1 is in, and we wait 4 hours in between recoats. Starting at the edges this time, want to make sure I get all the spots in between those swooshes at the edge. And then we'll go in and do the middle, and we'll let this dry, and then we'll be done. Well, you'll need to add a hanger to the back of yours, so if you go back to the hanging module, you'll be able to see exactly how I did it on this one. All done. Soon we'll be able to take pictures. Yay! Thank you for joining me on another adventure. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed making it for you. So next module will be doing a 12-inch round canvas. I'll be using a 12-inch wooden board. And so if you want to get that base painted in black and get your guidelines on with 16 segments, I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks so much. And remember, keep on dotting. You won't regret it.